It was the largest wolf ever to walk the earth. A fierce, powerful, and tenacious predator. The dire wolf killed to survive in a savage Ice Age world. Hunting in packs, the dire wolf was one of the most imposing predators on the Pleistocene landscape. The packs of wolves methodically orchestrated kill after kill. But suddenly, in an instant of geological time, they vanished. In a world where might made right, the powerful dire wolf perished, while its smaller, weaker cousin, the gray wolf, somehow survived. Was the dire wolf unable to satisfy its savage hunger, or did some overwhelming force drive it into oblivion? Los Angeles, home to the dog-eat-dog world of Hollywood movers and shakers. 10,000 years ago, a different kind of predator walked these streets. It was the end of the Ice Age, the era called the Pleistocene. The last of the glaciers were receding, and an extraordinary assortment of mammals walked the earth. Not since the age of dinosaurs, 65 million years before, had so many animals of such great size and strength roamed the North American continent. There were sloths the size of bears, mammoths standing more than 12 feet tall. Feeding on these monsters were the hyper-carnivores, killers like the giant short-faced bear and the saber-toothed cat.
You step out of your time machine 10,000 years ago, and North America is going to be a furry nightmare.
This is the world of the dire wolf, a massive dog-like creature that hunted and killed in huge packs of 30. A tough, fierce meat eater, it could take down prey 10 times its size while fighting off much larger predators. Like a street fighter, it was clawing for its share of the Ice Age world.
You just can't be beaten down because you just have the endurance and the stamina and the ferocity to scare or exhaust the opponent into submission.
Its tenacity helped the dire wolf survive for more than 100,000 years. Yet today, all that remains are its bones. The remnants of thousands of dire wolves have been uncovered here at the La Brea tar pits in the heart of Hollywood. This black cauldron is a paleontologist's dream. Discovered more than 100 years ago, the tar pits is the greatest repository of Ice Age bones in the world. More than 1 million bones from 231 species of prehistoric animals have been unearthed. What makes this area so unique is naturally occurring asphalt. This black, syrupy material not only beautifully preserves the bones, it created one of the most deadly animal traps ever known. During the time of the dire wolf, molten asphalt oozed its way from thousands of feet below the ground. As it reached the surface, it cooled, forming a harmless black crust. But in the heat of summer, this crust melted, the asphalt turning back into a sticky syrup, trapping any unsuspecting animals that wandered into the area. This explains why more than 200 individual horses and 300 bison have been found in these pits. But outnumbering the herbivores by a surprising rate, almost 10 to 1, are the predators. This is the opposite of what we find in nature. Normally, herbivores outnumber predators by 10 to 1. Scientists believe opportunistic predators like the dire wolves would attack what looked like an easy prey. But quickly, they too found themselves trapped by the asphalt. This happened countless times over the centuries. Predator and prey trapped in tar, their blackened bones all that remained. To most, this is simply a jumble of bones. But to an expert's eye, they represent a map, showing us the paths these creatures walked in life, and the road they took to their deaths. 15 feet below the surface, corresponding to approximately 40,000 years ago, are bones from various animals, including the direwolf.
The quality of preservation is excellent, and the diversity that we have found within this site is second to none. Right here, exposed at the bottom of this one grid site here, we have a vertebra of a short-faced bear. And right here, we have a direwolf humerus, which is the upper arm bone, with nice juicy asphalt coming off of it.
After researchers carefully uncovered, cleaned, and pieced the bones together, they found the largest canid, or family of dogs, that ever lived. The wolf averaged 5 feet from nose to tail, stood just over 2 feet tall, and weighed up to 150 pounds. In Latin, it's called Canis dirus, but it's better known as the dire wolf. The name dire is fitting. The name evokes a menacing predator looming on the horizon. It is by far the most common species to be found at the La Brea excavations. More than 3,500 individual wolves have been uncovered. By comparison, there are just 2,000 saber-toothed cats. Experts believe the large number of direwolf bones proves they were social animals, perhaps running in packs of 30 or more. They also suggest the direwolf had a special talent for survival. Compare 3,500 direwolves to just 15 of their closest Ice Age relatives, the gray wolf. The direwolf had been dominating the gray for hundreds of thousands of years when the direwolf suddenly disappeared. Yet it was the gray wolf that survived. The anatomy of the two species reveals why.
Anatomy is often destiny, and anatomy often tells a story about what actually worked for an animal or for a species for a long time. And the anatomy of the Pleistocene mammals gives us very good pictures of Pleistocene behaviors.
At first glance, the anatomy of the two animals is nearly identical, suggesting they acted much the same. But when we take a closer look, we find small but crucial differences between the two. The most distinctive difference is the direwolf's larger jaw and teeth. Paleontologists believe this would have created a much stronger bite, adapted to bring down the larger Ice Age mammals like bison and horse. Researchers compared other bones and discovered other important differences between the two species. The humerus, or upper arm bone of the direwolf, for example, is slightly longer, but significantly thicker than that of the gray. So too is the ulna, or one of the two lower arm bones of the direwolf. That means the direwolf was a more powerfully built animal, weighing up to 70 pounds more than the gray wolf. The lighter gray wolf bones suggest it was sleeker and probably more fleet of foot. These differences are subtle but significant and likely transform these similar creatures into very different hunters. Every animal has a style of attack which is determined by its physiology. Bears use their size and strength to overwhelm their prey. The cheetah has its speed and agility. The lion, its powerful claws and suffocating bite. The wolf has only two weapons, its weight and its mouth. In both cases, the dire wolf held the advantage over the gray. But by how much? To find out, we turn to another member of the canid family, the dog. Joe Camp is an animal coordinator for film and television in Los Angeles. Lauren Williams and Brian Hill are professional dog trainers with 8 years of experience teaching dogs to guard against intruders and attack on command. Just how does the physiology of a predator determine the manner and power of its attack? The 4 varieties of dogs in this show answer that question.
The bulldog makes his bite and then uses his body not only to wrestle the animal to the ground, he's actually twisting his bite to cause more pain. The mastiff totally uses nothing but its weight. Its attack was head on, slam into with his body, get a grip, and down you go.
The Malinois and the Dutch Shepherd are very similar in shape. They draw the comparison between the ancient gray wolf and its larger cousin, the direwolf.
The Malinois, being a lighter dog, uses the momentum or its speed and coordination to pull its prey down. I think the Dutch Shepherd combined all the best traits of all the different styles. He hurled himself, therefore getting momentum. He opened his mouth as wide as he could, similar to the Malinois, got that good solid bite. His weight slammed into the prey, just like the bigger dogs. Very similar to the modern wolf, and probably the dire wolf, too.
The more vigorous attack of the Dutch Shepherd hints at the advantage the direwolf had over its lighter gray cousin. It may have used its more massive body to take down larger prey. Besides his superior size, the direwolf's only other weapon was his massive head and jaw. To determine how the size of an animal's jaw affects the strength of his bite, a specially designed meter can be used. It will measure just how much power the jaws could pack.
What we have here is a digital bite meter, and the sensor has a gap in it. When the dog bites it, it closes the gap. And the readout over here tells you how many pounds of force the dog is applying.
Each dog is lured into biting the meter, and the force of that bite is measured. Quickly, a relationship between bite strength and head size emerges. For example, the Dutch Shepherd's head is only slightly larger than the Malinois, yet its bite is much stronger.
195. It was at 195. I got it to a maximum of 224 right now, but it was up to about 230.
And as for the Mastiff,
that's the Mastiff. Whoa! 556. That's amazing. A lot more than I expected.
The numbers demonstrate that a slight increase in the size of a dog's head can yield a significantly stronger bite. This was undoubtedly true for the prehistoric wolves. It's impossible to assign specific numbers to the direwolf's bite, but it appears the direwolf's larger head and jaw would have created a much stronger bite than his gray cousin. Its powerful bite, together with its robust attack style, probably allowed the direwolf to bring down much larger prey. Larger, stronger, the direwolf was like a gray wolf on steroids. A super wolf adapted to take on the very largest Ice Age giants. Yet the dire wolf was soon to fade into oblivion, while the smaller, weaker gray wolf would survive. Something had learned to hunt the hunter. A top predator had a ruthless competitor. For more than 100,000 years, the direwolf thrived far and wide across the Western Hemisphere, from Alaska to Florida, down to parts of Latin America. Yet no direct descendant of the dire wolf survives today. During its time on Earth, it was competing with a cousin, the gray wolf. Canis lupus, the Latin name for the gray wolf, was 1,000 years ago as it is today.